I wish I could spend all my time informing you and educating you about Israel, the war, what we have to do to defeat our enemies and to overcome the growing Jew hatred around the world. However, every once in a while, I have to spend time educating you about the mind-boggling internal challenges we have in the Jewish people, in the state of Israel, with a deep state and a legal system that many times work against our own interests of survival and instead literally help our enemies. Today's episode is one of those very, very important episodes on that issue, so stick with me to the end to understand. The Israeli people are getting sick and disgusted with a justice system that time after time looks like it is more interested in protecting our enemies and the terrorists than in protecting Israeli citizens and our own holy IDF soldiers risking their lives to save our lives. The latest is that the Military Advocate's Office arrested holy IDF soldiers based on a complaint by one of the worst Hamas terrorists in Gaza who committed unfathomable acts on October 7th. Oh, and how did the IDF Military Advocate's Office hear about the complaint? Because it has instituted a policy of calling by phone the released terrorists in Gaza and asking them for feedback about their jail time. Absolute insanity. Don't believe me? Here it is being reported in Israeli news after the IDF Military Advocate admitted to this policy in a special Knesset hearing yesterday.
דרמה אדירה, התובע הראשי של צה"ל שהגיע במקום הפצ"רית שבחרה שלא להגיע לדיון הודה שצה"ל פנה ביום הזמתו למחבלים ששוחררו ושאל אותם אם חיילים התעללו בהם. נכון.
הקריצה היא לא רק להאג, הקריצה היא גם לבית המשפט העליון.
לפעמים נראה שעולם המשפט הוא כאילו באיזה יקום מקביל, כאילו אנחנו לא באיזה מלחמה, אנחנו לא עברנו את ה7 לאוקטובר, אין נוח'בות, מדובר בעצורים רגילים, נורמטיביים לגמרי, שסתם נכנסו ועשו כמה פעולות כאלה ואחרות, וצריך להתקשר אליהם באמת, אתה יודעת, שלחו לי פה בשביל הבדיחה, טופס כזה שביעות רצון. אולי נשלח להם טופס שביעות רצון, איך היה להם המעצר, שימנו דירוג, צבע שבע רצון, לא שבע רצון.
More and more Israelis are waking up and realizing that the legal system gives more rights to our barbaric enemies than to normative, law-abiding Israeli citizens, and even more than to our own holy IDF soldiers. This Israeli media personality, Itamar Fleischman, says it best.
האירוע הכי גדול פה והכי מטריף, זה שאם אני ואתה והלוחמים האלה, שזה הכי חשוב, ירצו להשמיע את קולם ולעשות שינוי במערכת המשפט, כי הם חושבים שזה לא טוב, כל הדלתות שלהם סגורות. אבל אם מגיעים מחבלים לבית המשפט, נאמר להם שהדלת פתוחה בפניהם. וזה האירוע, וזה לא יימשך עוד הרבה זמן אם הם לא יעשו שינוי.
Okay. Now, a number of bereaved parents of fallen IDF soldiers and of victims from October 7th have decided that they can no longer remain silent in response to the literal immoral and unjust actions of the justice system, including the Supreme Court. Here is a mother of a young woman brutally massacred by Hamas terrorists on Simchat Torah October 7th in that massacre. She also happens to be the mother of 2 IDF soldiers who have fought in this war on and off in reserves. Listen to what she has to say to the Supreme Court judges who actually had the absolute gall to leave as she got up to speak these words to them.
ואני פה לא בחסדכם, אני פה בזכות. הסקניתי את הזכות הזו במחיר שאין למעלה ממנו, בגלל מחדלים מדיניים, צבאיים ומשפטיים. אתם יושבים שם גבוה עם גלימות, וטועים לחשוב שזה נותן לכם את הזכות להחליט על כל דבר שזז במדינה הזאת. מה אתם מתערבים בצבא? מה אתם מתערבים במדינה? יש חוק, תשפטו לפי החוק. הגלימות שלכם מכסות על ניתוק, על יוהרה, על התנשאות ועל עיוורון. והלוואי שמתחת לגלימות היה לכם לב יהודי חם, שאכפת לו קודם מעניי עמו, ולא מהרוצחים והאויבים שלנו. אתם מדברים על חוק כבוד האדם וחירותו, אתם בכלל מבינים מה זה כבוד האדם וחירותו? הכי כבוד האדם וחירותו. הדבר הכי מוסרי בעולם זה לפגוע באויב שרוצה להשמיד אותך, והכי לא מוסרי בעולם לרחם עליו ולפגוע בעצמך. אתם קוראים לעצמכם שומרי הסף? מי מינה אתכם? אנחנו שומרי הסף, אנחנו העם, אנחנו שומרי הסף, לא אתם!
Understand, this woman, this mother, is 100% correct. The legal system and the Supreme Court are partly responsible for the October 7th massacre because of their immoral verdicts and security issues over the decades that had no need for interference by the courts. I have told you before that the Khatuel family, Tali and her 4 beautiful young daughters, were brutally murdered at point-blank range by terrorists in Gaza in 2004, 20 years ago, because they were hiding behind a building near the road that the Supreme Court forbid the IDF from destroying, that the IDF wanted to destroy in order to protect Israeli lives. The courts and the legal advisors have neutered our holy IDF soldiers in countless of ways over the years. Listen to my friend and IDF Reserve Officer Yoni Shetbohm connect the recent case in the headline news today to our IDF service over the years.
אני דיברתי בדרך לכאן, עם מילואימניק שעשה שם 40 יום מלוחמה. אמרתי, בוא נשמע את זה מכלי ראשון.
כן.
הוא אומר את זה בפירוש. עוברים שם מסרים כל הזמן, מכניסים לך כתבים, מכניסים לך כל מיני בדיקות, אתה כל הזמן בתחושה, אתה יושב מול אנסים, מול אנשים ששחטו תינוקות, ואתה כל הזמן בתחושה שמחפשים אותך. זו התחושה שהם נמצאים בה 24 שעות ביממה.
יש שם מצלמות הכל.
הכל, והכל מתועד, אתה כל הזמן בתחושה, אתה נמצא עם
אגב,
אנשים...
אני אגיד עוד משהו, שלפי מה שאני מבין, שאם קרה משהו, זה שאסיר אחד פגע באסיר אחר. זה האירוע, כנראה.
אני לא מכיר את זה. אבל על מה שכן רציתי להגיד, אני מכיר את זה גם כמג"ד מילואים וגם כמפקד בשטח. היו מעבירים לנו מסרים בשיטה אחרת. היית מקבל את הוראות הפתיחה באש, אתה נכנס לגזרה חדשה ביהודה ושומרון או בצפון, והפצ"רים והיועמ"שים משדרים לך את המסר דרך הוראות הפתיחה באש. כן מותר לך, אסור לך, ואתה מבין בין השורות, עדיף לך לא לעשות כלום. והיו, המסרים האלה עבדו פעם אחרי פעם, סירסו אותנו הרבה שנים, במשך הרבה עשורים בלחימה ביהודה ושומרון, שדרך הייעוץ המשפטי והמסרים האלה עברו דרך הפרטים. מה אומר לי אותו לוחם שדיברתי איתו בדרך? הם העבירו לנו מסרים כל הזמן, גם שנשאר מול הנוח'בה, דרך הפצ"רים ודרך הכתבות האלה. עם ישראל העביר לנו מסר. זה נכון שזה לא כואב לראות את המראות האלה, אבל המסר עובר לפצ"רים גם בצד השני.
אוקיי, טוב.
Now, to better understand the outrage of what just happened, the Israeli justice system sent masked soldiers into the State Taman prison of the Hamas October 7th terrorists to arrest IDF reserve soldiers guarding the barbaric Hamas terrorists who committed the heinous crimes of October 7th. For what were they being arrested? Supposedly for abusing the terrorists based on a complaint from a top Hamas terrorist that the military advocate's office called in the Gaza Strip to ask him if he had any complaints about his time in the State Taman jail. This terrorist should be dead for what he did to our people. Yet our legal system calls him on the phone to hear what complaints he has while he was in jail? The IDF reserve soldiers feel demoralized by an unjust legal system that has been investigating tons, yes, tons of IDF soldiers who took part in the heroic battles saving our people on October 7th, trying to stop the heinous atrocities, filling in for a failed IDF intelligence command that did not protect Israelis on October 7th, and that took hours to react. The only reason tens of thousands of Israelis were not massacred on October 7th is because of the hundreds and thousands of King David-like Israelis who ran down south, some even without uniforms or even guns, and they ran into the terror inferno and stopped the Hamas terrorists without any army infrastructure ordering them what to do. Today, tons of those holy IDF soldiers are being investigated by the justice system. Why? Some for killing Hamas terrorists, a horrific charge that the justice system even itself stepped back from, and others for allegedly stealing army equipment that they took from dead soldiers and policemen to then fight the terrorists, and they then returned the equipment to the army. These holy IDF soldiers are being treated like criminals by the legal system, made to feel totally demoralized by an unjust justice system that instead spends every day hearing court cases brought by anti-Israel organizations, petitioning for better conditions for the Hamas terrorists in jail, petitioning for better humanitarian conditions for Hamas supporters in Gaza, a system that freed Hamas terrorists, including the director of the Shifa hospital in Gaza, who allowed his hospital to be used as a headquarters by Hamas, and a system that forbids our holy IDF soldiers from shooting at Gaza terrorists who are not officially associated with Hamas. It's totally insane what's going on with the justice system. All this while the justice system still has yet to prosecute the barbaric October 7th terrorists. Israelis are seeing now more than ever the absolute immorality and injustice of the legal system and the Supreme Court, the state prosecutor's office, and other legal authorities, and understand now more than ever why judicial reform is so necessary. Infuriated Israelis ran to the army prison where the terrorists were being held to protest this injustice against the holy IDF soldiers and to stop the authorities from arresting them. On top of all this, media personalities, politicians, and influencers who protested the judicial reform as being undemocratic and supported the insurrection of the Achim Leneshek organization and the Kaplanistim anarchists who called on reserve soldiers to refuse to serve in the IDF, even if war would break out without Iran, an insurrection that directly led to the October 7th massacre. Those people are today calling what is happening now in that prison an insurrection of the right wing and calling out the destruction of the state of Israel by the right-wing fanatics. It's insane. Now, again, let's take a step back and let me help you understand the big picture of what is going on. We are witnessing the total abuse of the legal system by the deep state to cause internal strife in the nation and give ammunition to the international community to punish Israel. All this while we are in the middle of fighting an existential war with a northern front that is about to blow up the war to a whole other level and endanger Israelis, all Israelis, because our enemies want to kill all of us, right, left, religious, secular. The deep state is going crazy because their plan to topple the government before the summer recess failed. So instead they are going scorched earth policy crazy. Now more than ever, I understand how Jews in the Roman siege of Jerusalem burned all the storerooms of food, which led to the ultimate destruction of Jerusalem, the destruction of the temple, and to our ultimate exile. Allegedly, the Jews in Jerusalem at that time had enough food stored up to survive the Roman siege. It was the hateful acts of some Jews in destroying the food and the storerooms that caused the ultimate destruction and exile. We are seeing the same type of behavior by the deep state justice system political left here in Israel as their Hail Mary in trying to return to power and topple the government. This time, they will fail. The Jewish people in Israel today are much stronger and much more united than ever before. Do not believe the media headlines otherwise. They're a tiny minority yet powerful. With each day, more Israelis are waking up to this reality that has been hidden from them all these years, despite the fact that some of us have been exposing it for decades and talking about the need for judicial reform that has been politicized, the whole justice system. While the deep state is powerful and influential, they are not deep anymore. They are exposed for all to see, which means they are losing because you can't be as effective if you're not hidden. Am Yisrael is winning. The Jewish people are winning, and that's why they are so desperate to go scorched earth policy. But today, we're going to stop them. When, how, I don't know. They're still very rich, very powerful. They're running all of the establishment media and the justice system and the universities, but the Jewish people in Israel are coming alive. They're finally seeing what some of us have been seeing for years, and they're going out to the streets to do something about it. Change is going to happen. It's crazy that this is taking place in the middle of an existential war. It's just insane, but that's the reality. But again, I'm here to tell you that even though it is infuriating and sad, ultimately good is going to come from this, because the bad entities are being exposed, and the good, proud Jewish spirit of Israel is coming alive to take ownership for the future of the Jewish state of Israel and neuter the powers of that deep state to stop its influence. Again, when that's going to happen, I don't know, but the seeds are being sown right now to ensure that that will take place. They are losing the proud Jewish people, the Jewish spirit of the Jewish people back in our ancestral homeland to make this a proud Jewish country to impact all of humanity and bring the redemption is happening. Am Yisrael Chai, folks. We're going to beat our external enemies and we're going to overcome our internal challenges. Follow me at the Pulse of Israel to get this analysis and feel the inspiration and share it with others. If you are not yet a subscriber to my Pulse of Israel videos, go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And to support our work and to ensure these videos are seen by more people, click on the donate button every once in a while at pulseofisrael.com. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.